Welcome to Zen Rose Garden Behind the Scenes. Coming up in this video, we're going to be talking about Reiki and psychic ability. This is part of our mediumship development training.
Topics we go on about when we don't have adult supervision. Hey guys, my mom's gonna photobomb. I just want to show you my mom today. Okay, is she like amazing? Today is my mom's birthday into spirit.
Yeah.
So she passed away today. September 27th, 2012. I'm going to show it longer because she's so pretty.
Okay.
I love my mom. And she was 92 years old. She'd be 99 this year. And so dedicate today to my mom. We're not talking specifically about mediumship today, but I just wanted to
Yeah, and Tanya says she's so pretty. I saw her in a pic in the advanced mediumship training practice classes. She is very pretty. She absolutely is. And so is she.
Oh, that's sweet.
If you are just getting to know us.
I'm Heather.
And I'm David.
Zen Rose Garden. So for those of you that practice any type of energy work, I've got a question for you. Do you notice that your psychic senses seem, and I say seem in capitals,
we'll tell you why in a minute,
to turn on and off or go up and down depending on who you are working on?
Right. And does this inconsistency bother you, or seeming inconsistency?
Right. And this is kind of like a little bit of a pro tip for those of you, depending on where you might just be starting energy work. You might be kind of at this place where this might start happening.
There's a couple things there. And in this morning's Energy Healing Mastery class in Zen Academy, we talked about how extrasensory information can become amplified as you learn energy work, and it can get a little bit confusing for some at the beginning.
So that's why we thought we would pop on and give you guys a quick tip about how this might show up.
So when you first start Reiki, for example, a type of energy work, when you first start any kind of energy work, but we're specifically talking about Reiki today, your psychic abilities can become really enhanced, like super magnified.
And doing Reiki or kinds of energy work can amplify your other practices of mediumship, but this is like in context of the energy work. So you might get messages from your client's subconscious. And we're talking about not mediumship so much here, but
more
messages,
psychic information,
psychic person to person from the client's subconscious. They might not be like sending you a message like pick this up, but their subconscious might be. And this can be confusing when you first begin to get more of these types of messages. For one reason, you might not recognize them as messages because they are not typical messages delivered in the same way that traditional message mediumship comes through.
And these are messages from the body that have to do with the healing and the energy work when you're in a session. One way of perceiving and receiving this kind of information, physical body indications. So one way this may show up is when you're working with a client, you may notice an issue in your body that flares up or that you didn't have before, and that part of your body starts calling out. That may actually be a message from the client to you through their subconscious on the psychic airwaves.
Right. Or another example of this is you might see images in your mind, like you might tap into your client and you might see like, you might you might see a liver. Okay. You might see like colors that might be, okay, this color feels like it's this chakra and needs some work. So after a while of first, you got to recognize that you're receiving messages. That's the first step. But you're going to start to develop a style around the way that you receive messages. Once you realize it's not just like random stuff, and you're going to begin after a while to rely on the messages coming in that way through those channels that you've kind of set up to receive the information. But then something happens. This is what we're going to talk about today.
Right. So as you begin picking up on these wavelengths or these ways that you pick up information, and you kind of get really good at it or get particularly good at one way, and you start getting what we call anomaly people. Okay. So anomaly people, and this could possibly be because you are ready for a new level to kick off, a new level of your awareness and your skill set.
Here is why. You have been getting better at your craft all the time, at your modality. You've gotten a system, you're tapping in, you know what to look for, you're getting pretty confident. But now what is happening is you're starting to blend with your clients
Yes.
in a deeper way than before, because you've done a lot of work around your fears and mastering your empathic gifts.
Right. So now you are more capable of doing deeper work.
Right. Then something happens. You were doing this so well that you're starting to tune into your client's way of seeing and sensing things.
And this may be a little disruptive to your normal modus of receiving information. Because say if you're a visual person, right? And then you're working on somebody and suddenly you're not getting any visuals, your first impulse might be, I'm broken.
Or this person just doesn't want to play, right? This person's like blocking me.
They must be broken on the table. They're blocking me. They don't really want work because you're not receiving information the way that you're used to it. But here's what's actually happening. Your information may be coming on a different wavelength because the person on the table may be more of a feeler. Okay?
Right. And we decided to talk about this today because the question came up in Zen Academy around mediumship. And the same type of thing will happen around mediumship where spirits communicate different ways. Mm-hmm. And so as a medium, you're developing different bandwidths to pick that up, because spirits, just like people, communicate in different ways. Mm-hmm. So if you're not listening on that channel, you're not necessarily broken. You just haven't turned the channels. An example for how this kind of comes up for me, because when I first, for us, mm-hmm. And for me personally, is when I'm tuning into a client, mm-hmm. my standard operating system is I'm going to see visuals and mm-hmm. then I'm going to feel something in my body. Okay. So if I am tuning into a person who doesn't
visual very well.
Yeah, doesn't visual very well, doesn't have a big imagination, doesn't really go there, I will maybe tune into my body because I'll mm-hmm. feel it more in my body, what they're feeling.
And for me, I'm more of a feeler, so I will sense or have an impulse of something, and that's kind of my primary mode that I go to. So sometimes when I have a client on the table, and it's a lot easier for me because when this happens, it's super abrupt. So if I've got a client on the table and they're very visual, they're really, really good at their visuals, I may start to get pictures and images and videos and things like that. And for me, it's like, wow, that's amazing. But it's not because of my particular skill set. It's just because I have opened up to blending and melding with the client that I'm pretty much stepping into their mode of processing.
Which is going to help you be a better Reiki practitioner, yes. because it makes you more in tune with mm-hmm. what they're actually feeling and sensing rather than feeling and sensing through your senses.
Right.
So for me, when I have someone on the table who's very visual and operates in a similar way to me, it's a freaking light show. It's really fun for me. Mm-hmm. And so because we vibrate the same way. Same thing with David when there's someone who's very clairsentient that we're working on. Mm-hmm. He'll get super emotive.
Like go back and forth. Yeah.
So it's really, it has to do with resonating frequencies. Yes. And so this is like a stage that you're going to get to as you're into your Reiki practice as a practitioner after a while, mm-hmm. And you're kind of upping your game. So we thought we'd bring it up because I mm-hmm. think a lot of people don't know that this happens.
Yeah. And this is something really fun to play with at this particular stage. If you're there. And if you're not, this is something for you to look forward to because it's pretty amazing when it happens. I wanted to touch a couple questions.
We've got some great questions.
Yes. Jolie says, I'm very suggestive, as if someone has knee pain, all of a sudden I have knee pain. And that could just be a communication. It's not necessarily suggestive. It could be a psychic communication from this individual to you to show you the story faster.
Right. So for you, Jolie, one of your superpower might be when you tune into a client, you'll feel there's the sensation.
The physical body indication.
And it's like magic with the client because you're like, oh, I know exactly where to go. They haven't even told you out loud. You go to the knee and you're working on the knee and they're like, how did you know?
It's magic. It literally is magic.
That's your superpower.
It's a psychic communication that's basically body to body, non-conscious to non-conscious happening.
And once you acknowledge it, it's not like you're going to walk around crippled. It
tends to dissipate.
It's just a message.
Right. And once a message has been received, then it doesn't have to keep sending. Val says, speaking in regards to Reiki/psychic healing, what does hot hands or cold hands mean? Okay. Which ones are your receiver hand and or release hand? My hands usually get cold at times when I am meditating. Play with it. Okay. There is no set releasing and sending hand, except for whichever one happens to work for you in that dynamic, if that's a construct that you use. I personally am ambidextrous when it comes to sending and receiving, so I can send in this hand, I can receive in this hand, I can send in this hand, I can receive in this hand, I can send in this body, I can receive in this body. So it's kind of an entire instrument that I use.
Yeah. And a lot of people like to, in beginning stages, to like set up a really strict construct, like you receive in this and
there's only one way to do it.
You send with that. And that I think is very limiting for a healer.
It's good in the beginning to kind of give you a framework.
When you're learning the polarities of the body, because you've got masculine side, feminine side, you've got different flows of energy through the body. Evolve, play with it. And that is the key component that I give to you, is play with it and see how it develops for you. Because what you're doing right now is you're developing your particular encyclopedia of energy work and sensations. So hot hands, cold hands, you will learn over time by practicing what that means for you and what that means for a particular client. So I'll give you a little heads up on what hot hands and cold hands might mean. Hot hands, when you are working on a client and you're at extreme heat, it could mean that they have an overabundance of masculine energy in that area.
That's like one way.
Like it's overstimulated. And cold hands might mean they have too much feminine. So
that's one example.
And that's one example
Another
of what
would be
hot hands and cold hands mean. So that would mean when you're balancing, it basically, if you have hot hands or cold hands in a certain area, that means just work on that area, because you don't really, in Reiki, it's just let the body take the energy it needs.
And then it will find a balance. So whether it is hot or whether it is cold, whether your hands are hot or whether your hands are cold, it doesn't really matter. What matters is that you kind of maintain that flow of energy until it feels balanced.
Like normal.
Yeah.
Normal.
Your medium.
But another thing to remember is that you give and receive with each hand. So as above, so below. So you
may have a preference to one,
but you have the capability of using your energy in many, many different ways, especially in energy work. So don't feel like you're limited to, I can only do this and this way.
Right. And keep in mind that it is all up to your mental constructs, how you want to play. That's it. Hippie chick Barbie, she says, was reading a lady in my local development group and felt that she was having stomach problems, saw a focus around her solar plexus chakra, and I was doing a mediumship reading. Awesome. And then she said she had been having gastric reflux issues that were pretty bad. There you go. And that goes to listening to the message, receiving the message without like filler information or without trying to make it something, just observe it. And then see where it goes.
So that's like you're getting a psychic information from the person that's there.
Right.
So, and we receive on so many channels.
Right. And then Jolie says, not so great because I'm an X-ray tech. I X-ray about 20 people a day sometimes. Okay, so Jolie, the suggestion for you is to realize that most of the time, if it continues on, then there may be some kind of an attachment on your end to maybe wanting to help this person on a subconscious level or over empathizing with their situation. So finding a state of neutral where you can observe the message coming in, you're like, okay, thank you for letting me know, energetically in your mind. You don't have to say, hey, thanks for letting me know your knee hurts, but inside, thanks for letting me know, message has been received. And that's actually a really good phrase. Message has been received. You can use that in your mind. And most of the time what that's going to do is that's going to alleviate the sensations, the physical sensations that you have.
So I think for you, because you're an X-ray tech, so obviously people are coming in and not feeling good in a part of their body. That is a good idea because you don't need to do anything drastic. Just acknowledging, got it, I see it. It can actually give you an opportunity to practice your superpower.
Yeah.
You can actually play with it and just kind of connect. Okay, I see it. Now I'm disconnecting. That's your shit, not my shit.
Right.
And it's just, I got it. Let's go forward. So if you can practice consciously catching and releasing,
it will catch and release.
It will eventually become an automatic thing where you just sense it, see it, done, not mine.
So also being an X-ray tech, I don't know if you're the one that's actually reading the X-rays or if you're just the technician doing the working the machine, but it may also give you more insight when you're doing anything with the X-rays. So,
well, what's great is like you can be at work and start practicing your skills.
Boom, there you go, boom, boom. Val says, thank you for the insight. I am in development mode. Awesome. And yeah, a lot of our videos, we've got a lot of development tips and pro tips that you can check out. Here's the trick with this. If you seem to be blocked, if it seems like one of your senses has shut off, quiet your mind and allow another wavelength, okay? Go through your senses, cycle through your psychic senses, and just wait for something to come online. See which one happens to be active. And I think you're going to be really surprised at what's going to happen and how quickly your bandwidth for receiving information can actually increase pretty dang rapidly. I gotta say,
pretty dang rapidly. So yeah, I think that the way a lot of you seem to be opening up, just keep that play energy, and especially doing X-ray tech, you have an opportunity to play with it and learn to attach and detach, not attach but connect
and disconnect.
Connect, message receive, disconnect. You might even imagine a door opening and closing in your mind. There's a lot of little tricks, but what most people don't realize is how much power you have over your own energy.
Let's see. Nima says, how do you answer clients' questions of how I'm exactly receiving this kind of message? Most of the time they don't ask us.
Yeah. Or
I mean, we've gotten to that point where they don't need to ask.
Well, I think she might be asking me like, how does she do? How would you do it in that situation? So I would just say I'm seeing it in my mind, or I'm sensing it in my body. I mean, or
your subconscious mind is communicating to my subconscious mind, and I'm just really good at listening. That's a pretty good one.
So, I mean, it kind of depends. I mean, we can chat more about that. One more question before
And she says, do you all feel drained after doing a healing session? And if so, how do you regain your energy?
I love this question, and we answer it a lot.
Yeah, we do actually get this question quite frequently. In the beginning, as you're learning, you can find yourself more drained because number one, you're learning a new skill. Okay. Number two, you may be overly attached to your client's process. Okay. Because we want to help and heal somebody, you may be overly wanting to help and heal, which puts your energy all up in their field. And it's hard to detach from that. Third is just experience. Okay. So the more experience you get, the less attached you become, as long as you're working on your foundation of finding your neutral and releasing your attachment to anybody's process, realizing that while you're in session with somebody, you can be fully there, fully present, and then release, let go. Their shit is their shit. Your shit is your shit.
I think a lot of it is overcoming the worry around it.
Yes.
So, when you worry about something, you attach to it immediately.
Yep.
And so when you're entering a session with this, like, okay, I'm going to enter this session. They've got my full undivided attention. I'm going to be with this person with everything that they need. And, you got to remember, you've got energy rushing through you. If that's not energizing you by the end of the day, that might be a clue that you're attaching too much. So you got energy rushing through you. You're helping your client. You step out, you close that door, and you're done. And then you detach. It's when we continue to have little subtle attachments after your client is gone. But I think we can get drained either because we're worried about our performance. How well did we do? A lot of it comes from our own self-doubt.
Self-worth, self-doubt.
There are a lot of different things to work on. But after a while, as you work on those personal things, you're actually really energized after a week of doing clients.
Yeah, there was a time when we were doing like 35 sessions, 40 sessions a week, and most of the time feeling pretty good. Occasionally by the end of the week, we felt a little zapped, but that's a normal fatigue from working so much with clients. Okay, that's just a normal fatigue from working so much, period.
Just you're tired after any job, right? So I think attachment is, Anima says it's a happy high. Yeah, it is a happy high.
And Tanya says, if I ever get to Vegas, I've never been, I'm hitting y'all up and meeting you out at happy hour at therapy/rehab.
Yes.
Sushi is life. So therapy and rehab, they don't actually have sushi there. That's not where we go for sushi, but definitely when you come to town, hit us up. Let us know what's going on, and we will definitely do both. We'll do all the things. Val says, I've learned to meditate and ground before, and then after, I usually feel eating something and drinking water helps to revive my energy. Yeah. Absolutely, it does.
And it is a journey. It is a journey, and the more you enjoy what you do, the more energy you have, and that goes with any profession.
Yeah.
I mean, look at us. We have so much energy all the time.
Just like working out, okay? When you first start working out, you're going to feel drained. As you become more efficient with your muscles and with your working out, you can work out longer and actually feel more energized after a workout than you did when you first started.
Well, here's, I think, the number one thing that a lot of Reiki 1 practitioners and earlier Reiki practitioners, what happens is that they are giving a lot of their own energy to the session and not just allowing the energy to flow through. You are some of your energy is going to get in there. It's just you're human, but you might be using too much of your own energy and not just letting it flow through, because the energy of the universe is abundant and limitless. And once you kind of make that switch and kind of get over the hill, we've all got to do it. Then it's like, oh, wow, there's so much more here than I thought.
And then you're actually filled while you're helping somebody else. So you're never really drained because you've got the universal energy running through you, filling you up while it's also working on a client. So it's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah.
Okay. It says, so Michael says, I just got on Reiki on. Awesome. Awesome. Victoria says, my friends say I act like I'm high, but they know I'm not. My energy is always supercharged. Awesome. Awesome. Love your energy. Thank you, Val. Val says, I have to learn how to not use my own energy. Any tips on how? Practice.
Yeah, I would say one easy tip is when you start working on a session, imagine your feet chakras opening like camera lenses and
dumping out the crap.
So that when you start a session, you have that channel open to ground, and you just imagine, okay, all of the stuff's just going to flow through what needs to flow through. I'm already grounded. Yeah, I've got limitless energy coming up from the earth. And you can even imagine, your crown opening up. I have limitless energy coming down from source, and it comes through my heart, and boom. And I think that is a sort of a really good visualization that you can use.
Create a construct in your mind to vent and release and to fill yourself up. So whatever that construct is for you.
And then just let it happen, because as you connect to those two sources of energy, which is what you're using, and you imagine it flowing through your heart, through your hands to your client, it's limitless. So that way, your energy automatically steps out of the way and you just are flowing.
And that's also where more magic happens.
Yes.
So Tanya says, that is so true. When I first started with Reiki, I was giving my own energy, feeling tapped afterwards, and then finally figured out that I didn't need to use my own energy. It is much more effective. Absolutely.
You're going to use some of your own energy because you're human and you're there. I mean, it's just because you're here, you're lifting your own arms, but you don't need to drain out.
And then Michael says, when I ground myself, I feel it going right into the ground, and you can see it. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And
all right.
One more thing I'm going to say. So when you are, when you kind of like click into how it's supposed to be, I think that one of the reasons that we use so much of our own energy in the beginning is because we are new and we are worried that we want to do a good job. And so we're like, I hope I do a good job. I hope I do a good job. So you're forcing a little bit of your energy into that energy stream.
It's kind of like the little kid that really, really, really tries to help you make cookies.
Yeah. So it's a little bit of your old people pleasing stuff. It's a little bit of your, I want to like make my client proud. So when you get that gets into the energy stream, then you really quickly drain out. We'll be back to chop it up with our YouTube fam.
Hashtag YouTube fam.
Faster than 2 shakes of a unicorn's tail after he has pooped on the carpet.
That rainbow frosting is super hard to get out. I'm telling you, I'm telling you, I'm telling you.
We're out of here, guys. If you liked this video,
hit that like button 5 times. It's probably somewhere down here.
If you have any insider stuff you want to know, let us know in the comments below. We absolutely love your questions and your comments. We love to hear your stories, and we love to tell you our personal stories because we know it helps.
Absolutely. And for more live hangouts, behind the scenes secrets, and mind hacking pro tips,
be sure to subscribe and
click that bell
to turn notifications on,
so that you're the first to know
when we drop a new video.
Drop a new video.
That's Flava Dave, by the way, or when we go live. So we do know that time is a valuable and precious resource.
And the fact that you guys have chosen to spend that with us, we absolutely honor and appreciate that. Thank you for that. Most importantly, that you are here to level up your lives and your business and take your lives and your business to a completely new level. We absolutely honor and appreciate that even more, and we want to support you on that journey. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.
See you in the next video.